So you're looking at the Maple Mountain Excalibur trip. We went to Maple Mountain. It's a mountain, second highest point in Ontario. You can see it from the Docks of Langskin, but Eric and I have never been there. We thought it'd be kind of cool now that we have the means to get there. And we had our trip to head up. It's quite a ways north, I guess. You paddle north, and I think you go further north than any of the other trips we did. We paddled around Lady Evelyn to start, which is a few good days of paddling, I'd say. Then we had a little mud fight, and then up through some little rivers and things like that, until we camped at Tupper Lake, which is in the shadow of Maple Mountain, which looks really, really big and pretty far off when you're camping there, feeling pretty small and seeing a tiny little fire tower at the top. Then the next day, we climbed up Maple Mountain, and then we realized the fire tower is actually pretty huge, and we were just really far away. Then when we got back down, we kind of went a different way back through, did some more portaging, and then swapped out for a Voyageur and had a pretty sweet treasure hunt. I guess that's basically our route. It's not too complicated, but if Eric wants to go and...
So we were going to do our favorite moments, but two things happened. One, we found it very difficult to express our favorite moments in just words. And two, a lot of them were overlapping, so we were going to have people saying the same things. So it was a collective decision to do a semi-improvised miming of our favorite moments, narrated by Jacob and I. So I think this could be really funny if you plug your ears, but if you want to know what's going on, you can listen.
All right, so our first favorite moment was we were paddling along into a fierce headwind. And then we realized the water was getting pretty darn shallow, and we had to hop out. We didn't want to scrape our red canoes. Started pulling them along through this mud. But it wasn't just like ordinary mud. This was like Jello mud. So you couldn't really stand in one place without getting sucked in. Then a couple of us had this keen idea. We're looking down. We're like, this mud really looks nice. You can make it a nice little ball. It smells absolutely putrid. You could really hit someone pretty hard with this stuff. So as we were tossing our balls, the header.
Well, two uneven teams of 4 and 3 quickly formed. We only have 6 people. So two even teams of 3 quickly formed. The lines were fierce, looks were given, and then projectiles began to fly. Every single shot found its target.
There were a few who tried to avoid it by staying on the outskirts. However, they quickly found that there is no, I'm actually not playing this game! And they became easy targets. Mud slinging. After a while, we realized that we were pretty stinky and the bugs really liked us. So we picked up our canoes and finished along through the mud and jumped out into the lovely lake, Sucker Gut Lake, and washed off. Thoroughly and with excellent hygiene. All right, what's our next one, Aaron?
I think the other one was the ascent of Maple Mountain. So that day we woke up very early, so early that the sun had already rose. And we had a hearty breakfast of oatmeal with neatly sliced apricots. We were very satisfied. It had all the food groups it needed. Then we put on our wet shoes, somewhat reluctantly, hopped in some canoes, and paddled to find the trail up to Maple Mountain. When we got there, we jumped out of our boats.
But alas, it was not the trail to Maple Mountain. It was just an opening from trees to a swamp.
So we got back in our boats. We paddled and paddled and paddled to the trail up Maple Mountain.
But alas, it was merely an opening in the woods to another swamp.
So we got back in our boats and paddled and paddled and paddled and found the trail up Maple Mountain.
Which actually was the trail up Maple Mountain.
So this trail started off rather, not much incline. We were walking and walking and walking, and then the incline started, and it started to get really, really steep, and we started to get more and more exhausted. So we stopped and had lots of water, and were fully hydrated so that we wouldn't make any silly mistakes and fall down. And then we kept walking, up and up and up and up, and then we came to a ladder. We all climbed it one at a time, under close supervision of both leaders, so that it was completely safe.
shimmied along a cliff on the bald face of Maple Mountain, where we were able to look out and see our entire journey. We were almost able to see Langskip. And we could see the lakes laid out, almost as if there was a map below us.
This was a very, very powerful moment for everyone. They felt a community bonding, a sense of pride. Everybody gave each other hugs. Much rejoicing. Then, we looked up at the fire tower as it swayed in the fierce winds. These winds were fairly strong. So strong, actually, that it felt like we were doing the limbo. We decided not to climb the tower. Then we turned around and made our descent. Upon reaching camp, we had a delicious dinner and turned in for the night.
Our last moment was after we had already traded in our little red canoes for our big Voyager. We were all lined up in our Voyager, paddling along in perfect unison.
Stroke, 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 stroke.
And then we saw in the distance mountains. Well, not really. Actually, they were rather small cliffs, but they looked pretty impressive as we paddled up to them. And we decided we were going to pull up and jump off. So, Max executed a wonderful bow hop.
He was given a 9, an 8, and 3 10s by his judges.
Then, everyone had their appropriate safety gear. Their life jackets were zipped, clipped, and checked by the staff members before they climbed to the top of the cliff. And they executed perfect pencil form with arms over the life jacket to keep it from hitting them in the ears as they jumped one at a time.
This was a lot of fun.
And,
those are all of them. Bow to the audience. Puppets.